So today I will be teaching you about conic sections, and in this video I will just show you how to turn an equation into standard form and then how to classify that equation as a hyperbola, parabola, ellipse, or circle. So the first part of this is just to organize the equation. So an example equation would be 4x squared plus 9y squared plus 24x minus 36y plus 36 equals 0. So the first thing you want to do is, we'll start with the x's. You put the coefficient of x squared on the outside of the parentheses. So 4 goes on the outside and x squared goes on the inside. So 4 and then x squared. And the next part is you'll find the x, the coefficient of x, which is 24. And you want to divide that by the number that's on the outside of the parentheses. So that's 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So you add 6 to the equation. And then you want to half 6 and then square it. So half of 6 is 3, and once you square that, that's 9. So we're going to do the same thing with the y. So the coefficient of y squared is 9, so you add 9 and then y squared on the inside of the parentheses, and then the coefficient of y is negative 36, so you divide negative 36 by 9, and that's negative 4, and then half of negative 4 is negative 2, and once you square negative 2, it's 4. So then plus 36 equals 0. So then the next part of that, just to get rid of these two numbers right here because they're not staying in the equation, is you will multiply them by the number that's on the outside of the parentheses and then add it to the 0. So 9 times 4 is 36, so you want to add 36 from this side, and you do the same thing with the other side. So 4 times 9 is also 36, so you're adding those two numbers to the equation. So right now your equation should look like 4x squared plus 6, and you don't have the 9 anymore since you added it to the other side, plus 9y squared minus 4 equals 2 36s, so that would be 60, not 6, it would be 72. So that's the number over here. And then also right here there's a plus 36 from the previous equation. So to just get rid of this on the left side and move it over to the right side, we'll subtract 36 from both sides. So that will make your equation 4x squared plus 6 plus 9y squared minus 4 equals 36. And then what you want to do is you want both b's to stay in half form. So 4x squared, and then instead of it being plus 6, it's going to be plus 3. And then plus 9y squared plus, not plus, minus. And instead of 4, it's going to be minus 2 equals 36. And then the 2 squared, you want that on the outside, so it should be 4x plus 3 squared plus 9y minus 2 squared equals 36. And in all the equations, you want this number on the outside to become 1. So our next step is to divide. So you have 4x plus 3 squared plus 9y minus 2 squared equals 36. So you do want to divide all parts by 36. So then 36 divided by 4 is 9. So you just want to put that over 9. So x plus 3 squared over 9 plus, and then 36 divided by 9 is 4. So you want to put that over 4. So y minus 2 squared over 4. And 36 divided by 36 is 1. And so then the next part of this lesson is learning how to classify the equations. So there is this kind of flow chart you can use to classify the equation. So the first question is, are both x squared and y squared present? So if the answer is no, then that is a parabola. And if the answer is yes, you can move on to the next question. So the second question is, do x squared and y squared have the same sign? So if your answer is no, like if one is negative and the other is positive, then that's a hyperbola. But if the answer is yes, you're going to move on to the next question. The final question is, do x squared and y squared have the same coefficient? So if the answer is no, then that is an ellipse. But if the answer is yes, that is a circle. So we're just going to use this flowchart to classify our equation. So if you remember, our final equation from the problem was x plus 3 squared over 9 plus y minus 2 squared over 4 equals 1. So our first question, are x squared and y squared both present? So here is our x squared and then our y squared. So yes, they're both present. So 1 is checked off. Then the second question is, do x squared and y squared both have the same sign? So y squared is positive and x squared is also positive. So we can move on to the next question. Yes, they both have the same sign. The third question, do x squared and y squared both have the same coefficient? No, they do not. X squared is being divided by 9, and then y squared is being divided by 4. So no, they do not have the same coefficient. So if you remember, that would make our equation an ellipse. So that is just how to turn an equation into standard form and then how to classify it. So thank you for watching, and I hope that helped.